Hi, Elliot with Sterling PC again, and as promised, here is the price breakdown component by component for what went into cheap and cheerful. But I want to spend just a minute before I get into the components talking about buying used parts. A lot of people are a little bit leery of buying used, and that's understandable. But you don't need to be as long as you are careful of a few things and buy from the right companies. The companies I always buy used from are EVGA, Corsair, Gigabyte, and Asus. These are companies that it doesn't matter if you bought something used or new, they stand behind their product. As long as you are careful that the product is A, unmodified, B, not damaged, and C, the warranty labels are intact. So if you're buying online, ask the right questions, or if you're buying in person, inspect carefully. Make sure something hasn't been physically damaged, dented or cracked, that the warranty labels that say warranty void if removed are still there and intact, and that something has not been modified. So like a lot of times people modify video cards, soldering on additional components or soldering on voltage leads. That will void the warranty, unfortunately. So be careful of that, and as long as you keep those things in mind, buying used is not a big deal. For example, the motherboard in this case, it's a Z97N Wi-Fi motherboard from Gigabyte. I only paid 30 bucks for it. I inspected it carefully. It didn't have any bent pins. All the accessories were there. It wasn't broken. But when I got it home, it didn't work. But I called up Gigabyte. They sent me a new one. No big deal. I sent the old one back. The power supply I bought with the factory cable kit and the braided cable kit for $60 from one of these liquidation places on eBay. They go in and they buy like whole warehouses full of stuff, storage units and stuff. And a lot of the time with items they're unable to test, which, for the most part, they're unable to test computer components, they sell them for next to nothing. So I bought this power supply, unsure if it was going to work or not. It ended up working just fine. But if it hadn't, it'd be the same story as the Gigabyte. I would have just called up EVGA and they would have sent me a new power supply. No big deal. So with that being said, let's get into what I paid for what. So the 4790K, I've got 30 bucks into. Well, how did I get that price? Clearly, I didn't just go and buy a 4790K for $30. That's insane. I've gotten some good deals, but nowhere near that. What I did do is when prices were low, I bought a motherboard, RAM, and CPU combo on Craigslist. I paid $380 for it. That's a pretty good deal. But I waited a couple of months until prices went up, and I was able to sell the motherboard for $260 and the RAM for $90, and that left me with a 4790K for 30 bucks. I already told you I paid 30 bucks for the motherboard, 60 bucks for the cables and the power supply. The case I actually got on Amazon brand new. I just waited till they had a good deal. So I pay attention to Amazon and Newegg's prices on a daily basis, and whenever something pops up a pretty good discount, I just go ahead and jump on it. If you end up not using it, you can typically actually make like $5 or $10 on something. If I hadn't used this Define Nano case, I got it for 40 bucks. I almost certainly could have sold it for 50 on Craigslist. It's brand new. The ML120 Pro fans, I paid $4.25 for. I bought a whole bunch of fans at once, and I own each fan for $4.25. The pump is the Tops Flow 12-volt pump. You can find a review of it on thermalbench.com. As long as you don't have a overly complicated loop, just a few radiators and a few blocks, Tops Flow pump works just fine, in fact better than a D5 on setting 3. It's a great pump, and I only paid $35 for it. There's a seller on Amazon, US Solar Pumps, and they have it. It's debranded, but it's the same pump, or you can pay, I think it's $39 or $40 on performancepcs.com. The CPU block, I actually got when I bought an entire water-cooled build at once. It was a cyber-powered pre-built. I was able to sell off most of the components for more than I paid for the entire computer. So I actually have negative value in the CPU block. but in the valuation at $639 for this entire PC, I said that I owned it for 10 bucks. The 980 Ti and XSPC water block I bought on eBay for $280. It's a pretty good deal, but not phenomenal. I know, everything just changed. Sorry, the end of my video got messed up and I'm not really sure what happened. I'm learning how to do video and editing and uploading stuff to YouTube, and I have some growing pains, so bear with me. I appreciate it. I think the only thing that I haven't covered are the fittings, the coolant, the tubing, and the reservoir. The tubing, reservoir, and fittings are all Primo Chill. The fittings are Primo Chill's Ghost fittings. They're a little bit older, but the base is actually compatible with their newer cap designs. In fact, the cap design is the only thing new. The base is extremely robust and very durable. I've actually been using these fittings for a couple of years. I got them several years back, and I bought some used radiators on eBay, and I ended up owning these fittings for around $2.25 a piece. So yeah, I mean, if you've got some older fittings, you can go to primochill.com and order one of their switchover kits for new colored caps, and you can get any of the caps that they carry on their new fittings. The reservoir is Primo Chill's CTR compression tube reservoir. I got it new open box on Amazon along with a couple of fittings and an extra tube for 30 bucks. So that's a good deal. The tubing, you're not really gonna find used tubing, I don't think. I mean, you might, but it's not that expensive. You can get a 4-pack for 18 bucks on Amazon, Performance PCs, primochill.com. And you buy some extra, you know, spend another couple of bucks on some tubing and get some practice in, especially if it's your first time bending. But even me, when I start a new build, I like to test out a few different ideas for a couple of bends before I really start putting it together. So I strongly recommend buying extra tubing. Okay, that just leaves the coolant. I actually made it myself. It's a blend of distilled water, anti-corrosion agents, something to make it opaque, and some food coloring. But I don't really recommend that. It's just an experiment for me. I was just playing around. There are opaque coolants from Primo Chill, the True Infused. Thermaltake makes an opaque coolant. I think they call it the C1000 or something like that. And Aurora, of course, or not Aurora. Mayhem's makes the pastel line of coolants. In terms of keeping your price down, the Primo Chill is far less expensive than the other two. You got 30 bucks for a liter of the Thermaltake. It's around $20 to $25 depending on the color for a liter of the Mayhem's pastel. Then the True Infuse comes in on concentrate like this, and it's enough to make a gallon for $25.99, I believe. So you get more for your money with the Primo Chill. And also in some independent tests that I've run that I'll post a video about soon, in terms of withstanding changes in pH, extreme fluctuations in heat, metal salt additions to the coolant, flux and copper oxide contaminants in the loop. Primo Chill's coolant holds up astoundingly well. So it's also the most resilient. The only consideration there is that if you are running aluminum radiators, the only option for an opaque coolant is Thermaltakes. Mayhem's and Primo Chill are not compatible with aluminum radiators. And the Thermaltake is compatible with aluminum radiators because it's essentially antifreeze. Which, I mean, it's not bad. I'm not saying anything bad about it. It's just, that's what it is. Their radiators are aluminum, so it makes sense that their coolant is for aluminum radiators. So I think that covers it. If you've got any questions, comment below or hit me up on Instagram, SterlingPC. I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for more videos.